Yes. Are we rolling?
Yes.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Community Service Podcast. There's nobody sitting to the left of me right now. There is. Today's guest is my dear friend, Greg Walloch. I absolutely love him. He's hilarious and one of my best buds. And where will I be at next? Come catch me live. And I'm coming to Phoenix, Arizona, January 20th, and then through the 23rd, and San Francisco, January 30th. Followed by, why are you laughing at me, Greg? Followed by Florida. Just go to my website, go to the shows, buy tickets in advance so they get canceled. I love you all so much. Tune into this episode right now with my dear friend, Greg Walloch. Yeah, watch this.
Oh, I can hear you drinking.
That's right. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
All right, we're starting. We were started an hour ago, but Greg had to go to the bathroom. And I heard him rummaging through my cupboards. What's your problem, bro? No, you were telling me that you had a friend that took a long time in the restroom. We're not going to name him, but his name was Christopher Lund. And said person was going through your stuff, you were saying?
No, I just said, you know how
You
when,
heard cabinets open?
I just said, you know how when somebody comes to your house and they go, oh, I need, where's the bathroom? And then they're in there for a little too long. And then you just get nervous because you start hearing the cupboards open. Like, I'm always like, I just was like, oh, are you all right? Because I thought they maybe needed more toilet paper or whatever.
They were trying to steal your Vicodin.
But see, I'm never thinking that. So I just was like, oh, they must need something.
Yeah, I never would think to do that either.
You
Oh, man, I used to go in everyone's medicine cabinet and steal whatever drugs they had. I'd just fucking take them right there on the spot.
On the spot.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't save any for later?
I wouldn't take all their drugs. I was a drug addict, so I was a piece of shit, but I have a conscience.
Uh-huh.
So I couldn't take, whoever's mother's whole prescription, but I bet you better believe it took about half of that motherfucker. I'd be like, yeah, there's some. She'd be like, wow, that prescription went rather quickly. Yes, it did.
I think I only keep things in my bathroom that I would want people to have.
You just have like X-Lax chocolates, and that's why they're taking so long. It's a vicious cycle, man.
Like, I feel like the bathroom, it's just like, if it's here, it's for your kind of use, right?
Yeah, because I would hide all my narcotics. I mean, I'm not putting the good stuff in the old. You're getting the Phillips milk of magnesia and Celine solution.
Celine.
What is it called?
Celine solution?
Celine
Solution.
Anything for
like
Selena
Celine
solution.
Dion. That's Celine Dion skincare.
Fuck Celine Dion. There's only one Selena.
Celine solution. Oh, Selena solution.
Oh, Celine Dion's cool. I saw her live. I started crying. But then she made like children's clothing that had like devil horns on it. And I checked out. I was like, that's for a baby. Let's leave the devil out of that. And she got a lot of, made fun of a lot on the internet and be like, that's children's clothes.
I missed that entirely. Did she have a...
She had a clothing line and it was weird. It was evidently weird. I mean, obviously it wasn't, you can't, it's like, why is there blood splatter on my child's nightgown? It was weird. You're just like, what the fuck? This is for kids. Like, whatever you want to,
I think she's had a complicated past of her own, so that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
But we don't have to talk about her.
What was her past?
Oh, I don't know. Well,
she used to be a horse.
Well, I think her manager fell in love with her, I think, when she was really young, and then she married him. And he's dead now, but like...
So she won.
No, I don't know what kind of game they were playing, but...
I don't know.
I just remember on Oprah, there was this creepy sort of moment on Oprah where he goes, Oprah, when Celine was a little girl, I looked at her one way. And then when she turned 18, I looked at her in a new way.
Oh, I didn't know none of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know none of that.
So it was a little
weird.
bit like, but
I do know that there was love in the relationship and she loved him and they had a family together because that's why I cried at her concert. because my father was there and he was beating me. Just kidding. No, he loves Celine Dion, and we went to see her concert in Vegas. And then it was so sad because she was paying homage to her husband who was passing at that time. And so she showed a clip of their family. And then she sang All By Myself, and it was a rap.
Oh.
Or I don't know. She sang a good ballad. And I was like, oh.
Maybe that's why that was semi-acceptable in that interview, because they
stood the test of time.
They were so in love. It
Yeah.
didn't really matter how it started out.
Yeah.
I did not expect to talk about her, but anyway.
Selena.
Celine
Solution.
Celine Solution.
And that's...
And I could have that wrong, but I think that's right.
Well, Google's it, Chris. Google's. How old was Celine Dion when she started dating her grandfather?
And hey, it's,
Now the children's clothing with blood splatters marks as the art is all making sense. No,
something. Work it out. You work it out. I wanted to ask, I saw Boo on the way in and Mr. Cat. So is Boo pregnant? What is going on?
Everyone thinks she's pregnant, but she just has worms.
But I thought worms would make you
worms.
skinnier.
That's what I'm going to call it. No, we took her to the vet and she's been treated. There's a vicious cycle because we let them outside and they get fleas. They eat the fleas. They get worms. So we're constantly battling that and flea baths and treatment. But then if we lock them up, they hate us. They hate life. So we and then we don't even. They just go out in the morning. Like they go out for 2-3 hours and come back.
Right.
And I think we just fed her too much and she got fat because we all thought she was pregnant and she is fixed. She's not pregnant. But the neighbors, strangers walking by, we're like, is she? How old?
He was 38 and she was 12 when they met.
Oh, that's weird.
And he started managing her. And then when she was 17, it says here in this article, when she turned 17 or 18, her feelings changed towards him. And then they started dating.
Okay, that's better.
When she was 19. And nobody thought it was a good idea because he was 26 older than her and had a bunch of failed marriages.
But
they did love each other.
Yeah.
You could see that. I mean, whatever.
And I'm here to say...
She was the pursuer, then it's okay, right?
I'm not going to get into that.
That's the way the article framed it, was that she was
saying,
the one.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think if you're an adult and a youngster is coming for you, you're still the adult.
Yeah, but they had built a life together. It wasn't like he was like, I'm going to bag this hoe real quick and kick her to the curb. It's fucking, it is.
Yeah.
It's different. It's still weird, but it's like, it's not that. He's not using and abusing. He built a life and a family with her, so.
And I don't mean to come for her in any kind of way. I'm
fine with that.
I feel pretty neutral
I'm not fine
in general
with her baby garments.
I have no idea what they're like. I really don't know.
I don't either. I only saw her once. I said, hey, and she said, who the fuck are you? Want some piss?
What are you drinking? Is it
Liquid IV matcha.
Liquid IV? That's a Kevin Hart company, is it not?
I don't know, but I love it.
I heard that somewhere, I think. I don't know if it's true. So it's like Gatorade, sort of.
Yeah. Kevin Hart got it.
Oh, so it's like a skull and cross.
Oh my God, is that the Celine?
Yeah, like a bull's head skull.
Oh,
flames.
That one's kind of cool.
That's
that was
pretty
weird.
cool.
That was weirder shit.
You're gonna take
That
it
was
back.
shit
You're gonna be
where
like,
I went
need
like,
it.
ugh.
No, that's interesting. Well, it's different than her. You have to like spread your.
It's also different. Like
expression.
Iron Maiden with Eddie the skeleton on a rockers kid. Like I understand that, but Celine Dion with skulls and bones and crosses. I'm like, but you're Celine Dion. You're not Ozzy. Your grace, your elegance. You have a beautiful voice. You're not.
Just like little skulls around like a
onesie. I like it. It's like death. It's like death, and
it's like Louis Armstrong. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And then he's selling skulls and bones. It's like it doesn't match.
It's also funny to see like a death skull onesie on a baby. It's like birth and death. It's just reminding you, like from the cradle to the
cradle to the grave. That's a good Tupac song.
It's cute though, and I don't mind it. I don't know.
I had some questions. Well, let's just get to it.
Sure.
My favorite story of all time is when let's do a little backstory. This is Greg Walloch. I've known you for years. We met through stand-up and storytelling, maybe about 8-9 years. It's
been a while.
Was I even sober when I met you? I was fresh sober.
I believe that you
like
were,
month.
Sir. Yes,
I remember. And then we met through comedy, but later I used to always ring you up at old Trader Joe's. You shopped at my store. Yeah. And you know what story I'm getting to? Remember the old the old Badillac and the Cadillac?
Yeah. So
I used to always do carryouts for you. And
well, I would walk. I live close, so I'd walk home. But
I would walk you when you buy too much groceries, right? He first of all, you're an independent fucker because this motherfucker would just put a goddamn case of water on top of his head and just fucking walk home. I'd be like, Greg, let me help you out here. And then there was this one lady that she didn't live out of her car. I saw where she lived. She lived near me on the old Sweetser apartment.
She had a lot of... her life was inside the car.
It looked as if she lived out of her car. And I used to do carryouts for this lady. And we called her the Piss Lady. And I've spoken of her before, and it's pretty fucked up. We called her the Piss Lady, but she smelled like rancid piss. That was the reason for the name. Yeah, she was an elderly woman who... had some challenges in that area, probably. So I would, I helped her to her car, and then Greg was walking by, and then I was like, "Oh, Greg, I got you a ride home." I'll let you tell the story because I forget. Yeah, and so Craig goes. I just saw your face. Craig goes, Greg, this woman's going in your direction. If you want to get in the car, she'll help you out. Because I like walk with crutches and it's a little bit hard to carry. And he had paper bags. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. It's score. And so Craig sort of knowing what her car environment was like and what her personal environment was like, I sit down in the car. And then Craig like pushes the door shut and he just looks at the window and he's like, bye. And it just smells insane. Like I was, and I got it. Like you had already shut the door, but I sort of was like, your face, the look on your face, you're just like, like a horror movie. Yeah. I love shit like that. Like I'm kind. It's like, okay. Let me help the piss lady out. And let me help my friend out. And then I was like, hey, pee-pee lady, I got a friend who needs a ride. Can you take him home? Yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah, hop on in. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. And just to speak on her behalf, she was a sweet lady. Lovely she's a human being. Sweet lady. But aside from having sort of a personal hygiene thing, her car, I mean, it was one of those cars where you couldn't really see out the windows because there was just so much stuff, like hoarder, definitely to the millionth degree. Yeah, definitely like a hoarder car situation. And her car smelled as if she had piss in one of those pee bottles, let it ferment, and then she poured it out on the dash, so all the air conditioning would just spew out piss. Although if you're a lady and like to be a lady and have a piss bottle in your car, that's a talent. That's a woman. It's not. That's a woman. Especially an elderly, especially someone who's elderly. You have to kind of get into a certain kind of position to make a piss. Like, back in my day, we called it bat winging it. How do you think rabies started? Oh, God. Bat winging it. No, yeah, that was back. It started with this lady's wee-wee. No. That was back before we were so concerned about proximity. Yeah.
The good old days.
The good old
when you can get into a hoarding car
a hot box of piss
and ride off.
And she
into
would
the
not
sunset.
roll her windows down either.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
I think it was broken. I think that's the first thing I went to like discreetly kind of look for, and it just didn't really work.
And you're like, oh god.
Yeah, I was like, and it was only like maybe like 4 blocks, but yeah. Oh, a guy walked me all the way home the other day. He said, "Oh, can I carry out for you?" And I go, "No, I'm walking." And he goes, "Oh, well, where do you live?" And I go, "Oh, just over."
We used to always do that. Remember that old Russian lady? I used to always, nobody else would do it, and I'd have to carry her home.
Yeah.
She'd give me those Russian candies.
Yeah.
I felt so bad. She didn't want me to leave. I was like, lady, I got to go back to work.
But he was really nice. He goes, "Oh," I said, "Oh, I just live like 4 blocks down." And he's like, "Oh, let me just go." But he just stepped out without asking anyone. And then at the end of the journey, he was like, "Oh, I'm the manager, so I get to like decide."
Oh,
And so that was cool. He goes, "It gets me out." So we had a conversation, you know. Talked about
I wasn't a manager. They just didn't want to do it, and they knew I wouldn't rat them out or sue, so they'd send me for...
It's nice. I mean, might as well get out for a minute, have a
Yeah, I didn't
little
care.
walk.
I didn't care unless it was the pee lady.
It's funny though, because we knew each other as friends, and I used to come in there to legitimately get my groceries, and I don't want to call him by his mean name, the big guy, big dumb guy. I don't want to claim him as a dumb guy, but you know, your coworker.
Which one? They're all dumb.
No, the one that you used to call the big dumb guy, or the big...
Big dumb white boy?
Yeah.
He's not actually dumb.
No, I'm not calling him dumb, but I just didn't want to I didn't want to
He's really smart. That's why
He's
it's
great. No, I just didn't want to invoke it. I didn't want to own that for him. But he used to say, "I'm a grown adult man," and I went into Trader Joe's to get my groceries, and he said to me one day, he goes, "Craig's not here today, so you guys can't be disruptive."
Oh, he was just joking.
No, I know. But I was like, "Sir, I am shopping."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I need some oatmeal.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't mean anything by
No,
that.
I know. I love
Way to
him.
bring
I
it
think
up
he's
on
great.
podcast that he
No.
listens to.
Does he listen to it?
Yes.
No, I'm.
Hey,
you're
Daniel
the
Gorman, Greg Walloch hates you.
Gorman. I don't
Hates
hate you.
your guts.
I was trying not to invoke the big dumb
And
guy.
he
big-
gave me
big
that
dumb white guy.
aloe that I broke off a piece to give you, and now you're talking shit.
I'm not talking shit. I love him. He's great. I didn't want to invoke that nickname because I don't see him that way. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, I do. I don't
Really?
care if you give me an aloe. No, big dumb white boy. That guy is so big. I saw him. I mean, I spoke of him. Remember when he was a twig when we first started working with him a decade ago, and then he just started doing squats, and now he's a big corn-fed, I can't talk. He looks like a corn-fed football player now.
Right.
I'm like, your back is too big. He squats like 500 pounds. It's crazy. He'd be like, actually, it's 540. I'm like, okay.
Well,
Whatever.
I'll take care of that aloe, and I appreciate it. I didn't mean to slander him.
Wait, where was it? Oh yeah, you caught me in many moments at the old Trader Joe's. Remember I was scraping gum off the floor? And I was just like, fuck my life.
But you know
My
what?
manager gave me a razor and he's like, go scrape the gum off the floor. And story of my life. I just
But
done
the preamble, I think, to that story is you had just done a really huge, amazing venue.
Yeah.
Did you do the will turn or
I
something
think I
like that?
had just done the will turn.
Yeah.
And then I was scraping gum off the floor and I was just like,
and it was one of those moments where you're
fucking
really
nuts.
hurting in retail, where you're really
it's in my act, but the high highs and low lows of this business. I mean, sold out Winter, not by my own accord. I was with Dalia, and he sold
that's
that
a
shit,
really
still
big
dope as fuck.
accomplishment. Yeah, for sure.
Los Angeles, my hometown, 2 shows sold out. Wiltern, Led Zeppelin played there. I'm on that shit. Fucking did well. Wake up the next day. Craig, can you scrape gum off the floor? Well, the store is open and everyone can see you. Here's a razor. Don't use it on yourself. Use it on the floor. No problem.
And you said something to this woman who was shopping there, and she's like, well, maybe she gave a very like LA white girl answer.
was like,
Remember
fuck
that?
off.
Yeah, it was really funny.
No
She's
matter
like,
what you say about perspective, I'm scraping
Yeah.
somebody else's gum off the floor.
and it's always super fun when you work in retail to have the customers give you advice about how you should live.
Oh, no, it's okay.
the best.
I know 90% of customers are all monster. They don't give a shit whether you live or die. Get me my snap peas, asshole. But keep your head up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's tough. I did the retail thing for a
You talked about that too.
really long
You
time.
went to Australia and you were treated like an absolute rock star, right?
Oh yeah, I had this gig in Australia that the show was really successful. I performed for like a month. I was on the cover of like
What is that called? A residency, right?
a little bit like a residency. I was there for the Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
It's one of their biggest sort of gay and lesbian events in the world, actually. And it was so fun and amazing. And
And then you flew back home to work at Sephora?
yeah, there was like radio and TV, newspapers, all this stuff. And then I came back home and I was working at the Body Shop.
The Body Shop.
in
That's right.
in the World Trade Center.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I was and I was in front of like, I think it's like 1,000 people a night for like a month. And then to come home and go to your retail thing. And listen, no shame in any of it, but it is awfully hard to wake up the next morning, like fly back from a huge gig and then just be snapped.
It's a weird thing that it does to your brain
Yeah.
because
It was
obviously
intense.
I was a regular working class Joe for my entire life until I got fired. And but like it's weird because when you work, it's almost all that you know. But then when you like 1,000 seaters every night, then
was
you
amazing.
taste that.
Yeah.
Then to go back to this, you're just like, this hits different now.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's
pretty
almost
rough.
it's fucked because obviously you don't want to never experience this, you know, the theater gigs and shit. But then when you do, it's just like these polar swings. You're just like, I'm gonna fucking snap.
Yeah.
It was like in the beginning of the pandemic when I had no stand up. I was actually, you become used to that. But then when I would get like one set of every other week, you're like, wait, I want that more now. You know,
Yeah.
you now know what it is, and it makes you hungry and want that. And it's just tough on the old soul there, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it is kind of a little bit of a rude awakening, but also all the grounding and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but it's hard to see it in that moment. But you've been touring around a lot, like throughout the last couple of years, which has been so impressive considering everything that's been. How's touring life been? How have things been?
Every possibility imaginable. Like I've been treated like a rock star and like, hey, you know, what do you want in the like
Yeah.
what's in your rider? We didn't get a rider. What do you want?
Oh, yeah.
To literally being accused of stealing a T-shirt from the club. So like once again, the swings are the
Did
polar.
you? It was my first question. Did you?
No, I was
Okay.
grabbing my merch out of my suitcase.
Okay.
And
Fair enough.
it's just like some clubs treat you like family, and
Right.
some clubs treat you like you broke in the place.
I gotta tell
and a bunch in between, you know.
I feel like in the spirit, well, not necessarily because resolutions or whatever, but in the spirit of the new year, I think you should develop a writer because I think it's an important thing to have. If you
I just
don't-
want room temperature
Let's hear it.
water.
That's it.
That's fucking it, dude.
I know that's admirable and all that stuff, but when
You'd be surprised
when-
how often green rooms just don't even have water, and you're just like,
It's true.
oh my god, just water, just
But-
water.
I remember
A
once
fruit bowl with some pineapple. That sounds nice.
I remember once when I was touring around a lot, I was bumping into a theater after Leah Delaria was leaving. And you know Leah from Orange is the New Black? She's a comedian and jazz singer, so great. And they brought me to the theater a little early, and I saw the green room, and it had carpet and like a painting on the wall, and there were flowers and like tea and coffee and all little cookies and nice things. And I just was like, this green room is so like
She did all that,
because
right?
you know when you have a moment where you're like, oh, the venue just really like the most minor thing, you just feel so like cared for and cared about. And I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be the best venue, so great. And I was so touched by it. And then they took me to lunch and then brought me back to load in for my show. And you know how theaters, they're kind of like a little maze or something.
Yeah.
I thought I had literally walked back into the wrong room.
You got the closet.
It was like a
fucking mop bucket.
It was like the carpet was gone, the painting, everything was gone.
Oh no, that was for Leah and no one else.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
just leave it there.
it was just a block of cement room, and I'm like, what happened to all the stuff? And I was kind of being low key about it, but I was like curious. And then Leah was like, Walloch, you got to get a rider. And so I like learned like you gotta I mean, not that you have to have more than water, but
Now get a rider when you're selling the shows out, and until then, don't get a rider.
No,
then
but
be
I think
this
if they-
motherfucker,
but-
we spent more on the green room than he made us in the
right.
box office.
That's true. That's true.
Can you turn his mic down a little bit, please? It's
Am I
pretty
too loud?
Yes.
Did I start talking loud?
You get excited. No, it's just loud in the headphones.
No, it is a little loud. But she's like, you should get a rider, you know, like. And
yes, to a certain
it was
extent.
good- it
I'll
was good
get
advice.
one
It was
when I
good
get
advice.
there. Until then, I just want fucking water. It's so easy.
Water and
water in a
hot,
fruit cup.
How about hot and cold water? I don't want to talk you into anything you don't need.
Just water, bro.
Okay. I like a little hot. I like a little hot water. Maybe the ability to make some tea.
Most of them have that, which is quite lovely.
Yeah. Beyonce, I heard, asks for, at first I thought it was a real diva move, but she asks for like a new toilet seat. This is what I heard. I don't really know.
No, fuck all that. When you get to that level, you get whatever the fuck you want because
No,
you've
but
been
then at
shit
first-
on your whole life. Your whole, maybe not her, but most the rest of us. She's been fucking.
But when I
brilliant
heard
out
that
of the
celebrities
gate,
want
that's
like
rare.
a toy, like I go, oh, what a princess kind of a thing. But then when you go to some venues and there's not a toilet seat on or they're really bad,
Or it's got graffiti carved
then
into
you
it.
then you understand like why maybe you want a fresh toilet seat. Trip to the Home Depot. It's not a problem. But at first when I read it, I'm like, what a diva-y kind of thing. And then you go in some venues and you go, That's always really funny to me how the front of venues can be so opulent and so beautiful. And then the backstage is like Saw.
Yeah, there's so many green rooms. You're just there's also. I'm also we ain't in the A leagues quite yet. We got some great clubs, but there's these A clubs that seat like 600 that are for all the famous fucks. And I forgot where I was going with this. What was I just talking about?
Oops.
A lot of clubs just don't even have green rooms. And
Right.
at my level, that's fine. But can you imagine being like Chris Tucker or, and just sitting in the audience with the people? You're too famous at that point. And it's
Like
bad.
standing in the back.
Yeah,
just standing in the
just
back,
standing.
waiting.
So I remember doing a club that Chris Tucker did, and then I was like, "There's no green room here." I was like, "Where the fuck did he hang out? He's way too famous to sit in the back corner. Like I could sit in the back corner. I might get 2 to 6 heads. There he is, Chris Tucker. The whole show will be turning around. Why are we watching the host? He's right there, I just say his name because first of all, I'm a fan. I love him, and but you know what I mean. It's just like, what do you just wait outside in the car?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird when you get to that level where it's just like the green room is important for that. I need somewhere to sip my hot tea. Okay, I'm out of ideas. Carry my podcast.
You're
Greg.
out of ideas.
Mm-mm.
I saw the one where you were by yourself, and I thought it was very nice how much you shouted out, Chris.
Oh yeah, it's hard to talk.
Yeah.
It's really hard to just talk with no one in the room.
Yeah.
That's weird. You're like, I am officially a crazy person now.
I feel like if you were ever going to branch out and have spin-offs on the podcast, it's like, I felt like there was a whole pre-show in the ride. Chris was nice enough to give me a ride down here. So you could do like a BTS in the car.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. You could have a pre-show show Because we were talking
Yeah,
about.
it was basically a podcast.
It was
the way
we
down
kind
there,
of did
yeah.
a little podcast on the way down, but we didn't. We
You
saved.
guys talking without me?
Yeah.
You're talking behind my
But
back.
it would be
You
a
didn't even
good-
hit record.
It'd be a good behind the scenes thing, I think.
Let's talk about. I just want to praise you. He worked with Hassan I fucked his name. Hassan Minaj on his special Homecoming
On
King.
Homecoming King, yeah,
Yeah.
we co-developed that show, and I directed.
Over a year or two, right?
Yeah, it took a little while to develop the first one, and then I directed it for the stage, and it ran at Cherry Lane Theater in New York for a long time before it. That's what I was so impressed with, is that he ran and toured that show. So, because most people like build a show and shoot the special and then tour. He kind of like built the show, toured it live, and then shot it at the end. And I feel like you could really tell a difference when you watch that particular special. Like he'd worked at the material and knew it so well, you know.
Yeah, that guy's a G too, and there's so many talented
Yeah, no, he's
fools.
so good.
You just list them, you're like, oh,
And I worked
there's
on
too
it.
many geniuses.
I was a consultant on his new one, The King's Jester, which is currently touring around. So
nice.
it's fun,
And you work
yeah.
with Moses Storm on early development
little
of his
bit.
White Trash.
well,
Moses Storm is a very funny comic, and he has the HBO
So good.
special
It's
coming out
coming
very
out
soon.
this month,
And it's
yeah.
called White Trash, right?
I'm
What's
not
it called?
sure what it's
Shit.
called,
Help
but
me out there, Tiger.
when we did a really really early version at the Kennedy Center, and it was very early seeds of
Okay.
of this special. But I'm so
But still very cool.
yeah, I'm so proud of him, and it's I think it's
You're the
gonna-
special whisperer.
gonna be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah,
to,
we were working together
yeah,
for a second,
work
and then
with you.
I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's all good.
You're doing your thing. You're touring around.
I'm slinging those jokes.
So are you gonna eventually put everything together? And
Yeah. I finally, yeah, we're in talks with some people, and if that shit hits the fan, I'll do that shit on my own. I don't give a hoot.
Nice. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and I already have. It's a lot of older jokes, but I've never, and some newer shit. I've never put them all together in one straight. It's just little clips, and I didn't even post them. Like Laugh Factory posted them.
Right.
I'm not getting paid for it. I want to put it out in its entirety and be like, here's my album. Here's my little special, whether it's on YouTube, Prime, Netflix, or HBO, and then be like, it's one little piece, So I have a
Right.
lot of callbacks that go to all these jokes, and I never really got to, unless you're at a live show, it never really existed. You know what I'm trying to say, in its entirety out there on any platform, and I want to do that
Yeah.
and then retire it and move on. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
Everything's trash. Is that what it's called?
I
don't-
guess so.
Maybe.
I think he changed the name.
I'm
then
not
I thought it was
sure.
White Trash.
I thought I saw a graphic that said white trash at
Yeah.
one point. Or trash white.
Trash White. That was
Yeah,
it.
that was the graphic that I saw. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. I think I'm so excited.
Yeah,
for him.
he's so talented. He's so funny. He's fun to watch because you never know what's gonna happen. I love that type of performer.
That is certainly
Yeah,
true.
Trash White.
Yeah.
Anyways, check it out. He's brilliant. Bloody funny folk. Bloody funny folk. What did I say
You're
that?
staying hydrated and cleansed.
Poopy. I actually had this in the room. It's empty to put old batteries and recycle and be a decent human being and not throw them in the trash. But I have a full one
I'm impressed that
in
you-
my ass. No.
yeah. I'm impressed that you made it through this entire
If you
How-
don't know, I've been preaching the Celium Hus a long time. WeHo got me in. Them gay boys got me in. They want that clean booty hole.
Sure.
That's the ticket. You into fudge packing? Get some Celium Hus, baby. Hoo-wee.
That's a
Getting
good,
canceled.
that's a good
It's a joke.
endorsement.
It's just jokes. Nothing but love, baby. No, but it's true. There it is. They got it at Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, CVS. Don't buy that Metamucil cut with fucking God knows what chemicals.
Right.
Get one ingredient. Husk.
Yeah, no, it's important. It's important to keep everything.
And if you eat a pound of fiber every day, you don't need it. But, you know, most of us are eating cheeseburgers and shit. You need it.
Yeah. Smoothies, what's your deal? How do you do
I
it?
just chug it with...
Really? Wow.
Yeah, smoothies, it solidifies.
Right, it gets too clunky.
I just do it with like an emergency, so it flavors the water. It doesn't taste bad. I just don't like it. I'm also, I like sugar.
And so you're ready for butt play, is what you're trying to tell everyone.
Yeah, I keep telling Sadie to go down on my asshole, and she's like, no. I said, I'll buy you a new bicycle if you eat that ass. Eat that ass. I bought her a brand new bike. So far, she hasn't eaten my ass. And I was like, I'm always trying to eat your ass. And she's like, yeah, I'm more into you eating my vagina. And I don't know if she wants me to say this stuff, but it's my podcast. So what are you going to do, Sadie? No, because she has a beautiful booty hole. And and I want to munch on it. And she's like, it's not, I'm more, move up. And I'm like, oh, boring. I want the threat of an infection in my face. You know what I'm saying? I want risk. Am I getting gingivitis from that ass? Is that a thing?
I hope not.
Am I getting pink tooth? Anyways, my family listens to this. Isn't this great? Just joking. None of it's true. It's all true. What? Boy, I got it in my head right there, didn't I? Edit. We're not gonna edit it. It's good stuff. There's just something appetizing about a pretty ass.
Sure.
No matter what, he's more into the hairy asses. I'm more into the... Come on, man. You just let me drown over here by myself.
That's
Help me
all right.
out. Throw me a lifeline. Throw me a lifeline, Walloch.
I agree.
He's like, I love an Armenian asshole. Num, 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 num.
Why has it got to be an Armenian?
Because I said hairy and Armenians are pretty hairy.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the connection.
Sure.
I'm racist.
Sure. Oh,
I'm not. That's a joke. Love.
That was always a source of comedy. I remember one time I was in Trader Joe's and this guy had this American flag little booty shorts on because we were in West Hollywood, and it had stars on the butt.
Was it the guy with the butt and dick implants? You seen that guy?
Oh no!
What is going on down there? It's like Ben Stiller from Dodgeball, but in real life, where you look, you're like.
But this guy had American flag booty shorts on, and you talked about because there were stars on his butt.
Oh, he had a brown star on the back?
You said, oh,
my cousin had a brown star.
You said, but I love the brown star the most. And and you couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that you talked to the customers like that.
What's he going to do? You going to rat me out?
No, he loved it. I think that's what was really funny is like everybody in the neighborhood really enjoyed.
I'm glad you said that because I know I said inappropriate shit to customers all day, every day, but I couldn't tell you what. And there's an example of me saying to a man in bicycle shorts, hey, I like the brown star on the back. You know?
You said, I like your American flag shorts, but the brown star on the back's my favorite.
You just got to say it with a smile. You shit your pants.
It's a compliment,
it's
though.
Funny.
I think it's a
funny.
Yeah.
I called one old gay dude and he got real mad. He ratted me out, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not nice.
But he made fun of me
likes
first.
To be called old.
Yeah, you guys had like a joking relationship.
Yeah, he came at me and then I came at him. And then he later apologized because I was like, hey, man, you could make fun of me. I can't make fun of you. You're old ass motherfucker. Ain't got no sense of humor. He's like, being called old is the same as being called the N-word. I'm like, is it? 'Cause it's not. Remember, he said that to the managers.
I can believe it maybe.
Ageist is the same as racist.
I don't think that's.
I said, I don't think so, bro.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Anyways, we made
He's
up.
reaching there. He's reaching.
I was like, don't go tat for tat with a comic if you're gonna get your feelings in a little bunch.
Meanwhile,
in a little brown
he's like,
star
I'm
bunch
just
in the back.
shopping. He goes, I'm just shopping.
Yeah, I was stocking some shit, and he said some shit, and I was like, "Fuck you, old man." And then he got mad at that.
Yeah.
What a What a shocker.
Yeah. Old.
I don't remember exactly what I said. Just off the cuff, you know?
Maybe it was worse. Do you think it was worse?
No.
No. No, I don't know. I mean, you are a human. I mean, all those years I worked in cosmetic retail, you are a human being and you are allowed to.
Yeah, I call people out.
You are allowed to respond.
I loved not giving a fuck whether or not if I got fired or not, because it gives you free range to say and do whatever the fuck you want. In you know, obviously in good. I'm not doing that out of nowhere, you know. You gotta poke. I'll poke back. You think I want this job? No. It's fine, bro.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's like freedom. You're like, go ahead. What are you gonna do? Fire me? Look what happened. You set me free.
Yeah.
Since Lever mentions
That is an important leap, though. I feel like when you finally decide, like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it, and
yeah, that first year was just, the anxiety I had. I wouldn't wish upon anybody. I couldn't sleep at night. I didn't have weed or CBD then either. I was just eating myself alive. Didn't have microdosing. Wasn't doing my morning pages. Just anxiety. I started to hate a couple people because it was this one gentleman, and I had worked my way up into the Laugh Factory, and you know, I got spots and got paid, and then a new booker took over. I was getting all these spots and all this money, and then he was like, no. And then he tried to make me a bringer and host. I'm like, I'm already passed through the owner. Like, fuck off. But because I needed, at that point, I needed that money to survive. So then I started to hate that man. And now if that happens, you're like, oh, whatever. I'll go to these other two clubs. Big whoop. I don't need it, you know. It's out of that necessity that makes your brain go to weird, angry. I don't want to say desperate. You know, just survival, and you blame it on that one guy and get bitter, I guess. It wasn't a healthy place in my head at that second because it was the unknown and I was terrified.
Yeah, transitions are hard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're kind of like leaping off. And I remember when I finally made that jump and I'm like, oh, I can't sell soap to people. And I just got to try to do my work, you know? And so, and it is a scary transition moment, but then it eventually.
It all worked out.
It worked.
You haven't worked retail in how long?
Oh my God, it's been
8 years?
No, it's been maybe like 15 or more.
Yeah.
Years.
Damn. I didn't know that. The body shop pain in your eyes felt like yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like I feel like when I worked, it was like early 90s, or I was at the I worked at the World Trade Center body shop location right after the first attempt,
The first bombing?
the one that didn't really work. Remember that one? So whenever that was, I'm so bad with time, but
Had it been like 99.
yeah.
That
But
shit was...
I know. When I went to that gig in Sydney, Australia, that was 1994. So I was working in retail like 92, like early 90s. Yeah.
You had a TV show, and then the USA Network got bought up, right?
No, I was just in development at USA for a long time, and then
They went under?
No, they're doing great. They're
They're
around.
still around?
Yeah, no. They're doing.
I don't have cable.
They're part of their NBC Universal. They're part of NBC Universal. But I was in development there for a while, and I think they were gonna start a comedy branch or arm, and then they just ended up not doing that. And so a lot of shows, I think, Billy Eichner and Julie Klausner had Difficult People, I think, was in development there. I believe, I could be wrong, but I think they ended up going to Hulu. And so a lot of projects that were happening at that time kind of went out to other places. But I was just in development with them for quite a while. And I'm from LA originally. I'm from the Inland Empire, but I lived in New York for about 10 or 12 years.
IE, baby.
Yeah. And then...
It's where we ship my rowdy cousins when they get in trouble.
Really?
Just kidding.
Where do you send them?
Maybe a couple times. Riverside.
Riverside.
Riverside or New Mexico.
Yeah. So I Yeah, no, I went to New York, and then the USA Network thing is what got me back here, because I had been touring around with The Moth, which is a storytelling. You've done one
Yeah,
before.
were I think one of my first real shows on just a raffle, that raid story that went viral.
And Lauren Weedman, I've seen the clip, and Lauren Weedman introduces you. She's so great.
She's so nice, so funny.
So funny. And but I was touring around with The Moth. They were doing this thing with USA called Characters Unite, and it was an initiative where they brought people who had different belief systems together through storytelling, and kind of to say that we can come together through our story.
They need to bring that back right now.
Right away.
Right yesterday.
And so, like, I remember Megan McCain was on one of them, and Pam Grier, and so many other great people. But I'd been going around on that tour with USA, and then by the end of the tour, this is carbonated.
He just threw up in his mouth a little bit.
No,
Did you hear that?
I was trying to hold a burp. I know. I was trying to hold a burp. But they, at the end of the tour, they wanted to develop a show. And so it never really came to fruition. But it did get me out to LA. It got me to relocate back here.
I'm going to New York. Oh, this will be out. You missed it. It's going to be so cold. I'm so scared. I looked at the weather. It was like 16 and snowing. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Who said yes to this? You guys, I'm cold here. How am I going to do
when
this?
When are you going?
Wednesday. Tomorrow.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Wednesday.
Where are you?
I got to pack. I need some snow boots. You need boots? The Vans work?
Everything should be paved. If it snows while you're there, then you might have trouble. But it'll all be plowed out and cleared out.
Pretty much. You need a good shoe though. Like if you step in a puddle.
I'll go to the van store and buy some all-weather Vans.
I feel like that would be my advice. You would need a decent kind of shoe.
I think I will actually go get one because I'm fucked.
Well, there's also stores.
I'm gonna put little bags over my shoes.
There are also stores in New York too.
I'll go to the van store.
Okay.
I can't go anywhere.
I try to remind myself that when I'm touring around and when I'm packing.
Yeah.
Because I have to carry what I'm bringing. I always think, well, Greg, there's also stores where you're going. Most places.
I got my Carhartt jacket. I hope that's enough. I get scared of the weather. I literally got terrified. I don't know if you saw it. I went, no, that's tomorrow. I'm also stressed out because I don't know how I'm going to get from Philadelphia to Poughkeepsie. They got good train systems out there, don't they? Mm-hmm. I'll be fine.
Where are you playing in New York?
Laugh It Up Poughkeepsie, and then Comics Roadhouse in Connecticut. And we probably shouldn't talk about this because this comes out after.
After you've done it.
You missed it. Pay attention. I've been plugging it for 6 months now.
Do you find that just when you got, because this
all the time, it drives me insane. You just leave.
Just
when you come
place.
into Philly,
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
there last weekend.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh man, you guys. I know I say this before. I'll be honest. I don't give a fuck. I was doing Long Island Governors January 13th, and it got canceled to low ticket sales, and it got canceled too early too. Because I was like, hey man, no one buys them early. They usually the day before, the day of. And then I was willing to roll the dice, but I also didn't want to piss off the club. And they canceled it. They're like, we want to cancel. And then come to yesterday and today, everyone starts DMing, what happened to the date? What happened to the date? I'm like, buy the fucking tickets, man, or they get canceled. Like,
oh, so you think people were just waiting and we're going to roll up when you
most.
Yeah, that's a hard bet.
It's hard.
You just don't know.
You got to sell at least 50 tickets ahead of time, or the club gets nervous. Are we gonna lose money on this kid? And I don't blame them at all. It's just.
No, I get that totally.
It's just a shitty scenario of me not being famous enough, is what it is. But now that you know, purchase your tickets. If you want to go to a show, buy a ticket. And you know, I don't. If you're hard on money, you know, fucking DM me. I'll get you in free, whatever. But just go to the damn show. Because I have a pretty good feeling if we had just rolled the dice, which I wanted to do, but I understand, financial risk, we would have been absolutely fine and had a good show. But they wanted to cancel them. I'm at the mercy of the club, so it is what it is. So buy your tickets ahead of time is the whole moral to that story. And also get more famous, Craig. Sell more tickets, Craig. I kill it in some markets. It's just like, I couldn't believe I sold out a few shows and hit some bonuses. That was cool. I'm being honest. I had a couple cancels too. So, there's the
but I've seen so many people who are now really well-known, famous people. But back in New York, it is over there. And I hit up some homies and they're like, nah, it's kind of it's in the air, literally and figuratively. The fear is there.
Right. And everything is a little weird and wonky. So it wasn't just solely on me.
But I was going to say I've seen people who are now really well-known famous people where you saw them on a summer night in New York way back when there were like 3 people in the room. And I've done those shows too where you're just like, and then now so famous and so well-known, but everybody goes through those moments. Like I mentioned the Cutting Room earlier. I remember the owner there, I'd done a show there and it was like 100 degrees outside. It was just one of those really hot New York days and nobody was in the club, and because it was just, the weather was brutal, and so I had just finished doing a variety show which had several people in it to like an audience of like 4. So there was one of those shows where there was literally like
14 cast members.
Yeah, there was literally more people than that, but they were really good to us. We kind of did it rain or shine, I remember after the show, Steve said, that you should watch this girl coming up next, Stephanie. What is her name? I don't know Lady Gaga's real name, but
she was on it?
He goes, she was the next person coming in performing.
God, that's so wild.
He goes, you should watch this girl. She's got something really special. Like she's really going to go somewhere. And it was a hot summer night. And I remember she had like a few more, but maybe like 15 people, you know what I mean? And then
imagine seeing Lady Gaga in a basement performing
it wasn't exactly a basement. It's actually a really nice club, but they'd forgotten about it totally. And then when she got famous, and someone said her name, her given name. I was like, oh, that's that girl that way back when I watched on a hot July night.
Yeah, I saw
to perform to not that many people. But it's not a slam against her. It's just that.
That's just how it goes.
That's how it goes. Yeah.
Not nearly as cool as Lady Gaga, but I saw Cold War kids perform at a coffee shop, and that's fucking dope. They're pretty big. And big on the K-Rock radio if you're into rock music. Yeah, it's wild,
everybody goes through those moments where they're trying to
I don't want to say I got a
tickets.
show got canceled, but that's what happened, and I don't really like lying. It's, fake it till you make it. It's sold out over capacity. We had to cancel it. I'm sorry, we're going to have to take a quick pee-pee break. I drank too much liquids again.
It's okay.
I got pee-pee. And we're back. I'm also just a fucking pee-pee boy. It runs in the family. Me, my sister Cynthia, and my mother were all pissers. It's so annoying.
You have to go a lot.
Yeah, if we drink liquids, forget it. It's like, can we pull over? We just did.
Yeah.
Go.
I don't know. Did your dad not like pulling the car over?
It does feel like I don't really remember. Knowing my father, definitely not. But we pulled over, at rest stops. I don't feel like it was a problem when I was a kid. It's more recent.
Mm-hmm.
It's that damn prostate. I'm getting old.
I don't think so. How old? See, I'm gonna get into dangerous territory like you and the customer. You don't talk about your age.
I'm 37.
You're 37. That's not old at all.
It's so old for this look.
Was that the guy you used to shake
I'll
his
never
shake
change.
his soda? Was that the old guy?
No, that was Lawrence.
Yeah.
I used to flip him off and make fart noises at him.
There's all these characters, I think, because of you chronicling that time.
Yeah, that was some.
I felt like certain customers wanted to come and be in your store.
Oh, they enjoy harassing me because I would let they. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but it's usually older gay gentlemen, and I'm straight. But I would flirt with them to get away with shaking their sodas, and just be like, okay, you want to grab my booty? I get to fuck with you on camera then.
Oh, so that's what was.
No, they didn't. I mean, maybe.
Oh,
No, only
well.
2 dudes grabbed my booty.
all right.
And I mentioned one's name on the podcast, and he got mad and stopped listening. And the other fellow's deceased, and I let him get a few pinches in.
Oh yeah, you told that
Yeah.
story about your coworker.
Yeah.
I love that story so much. Is it recorded? Is it?
I need to do it. I started developing it again. It was a weird one. Like I just started it and then just shelved it for like 2 years. I still have probably ran that story like a total of 12 times.
Oh, it's so good.
It is a good story.
It's a good story. I mean, you don't have to go into it here, but it's just a sweet story about your coworker, and
Yeah,
it's really
old
good.
Dart used to pinch my booty and ask if he could touch and see my dick. And I'd be like, get off me, man. Go stock some carrots. And then at his funeral, I said some inappropriate shit because his family was slightly homophobic, or somebody said something like, may God have mercy on his soul. So at his funeral, I said, like, and now that he's gone, I said that he used to squeeze my booty and ask if he could touch it, and he see it. And now that he's gone, I really wished I would have just let him touch it once.
Oh, that was such a nice way to eulogize, because I feel like you brought his spirit back.
Yeah.
When you tell the
He
whole
was a
story,
pimp.
it's
This
so
motherfucker had
beautiful.
charisma. He was
Yeah.
just a G. He was loved.
Yeah.
That was dope. Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah.
I hope you developed that.
Were you
story
nervous
and
when I
tell
was
it.
up
It's
there
really
a little
good.
bit?
Yeah. You were the most polished performer in the whole room, so I figured like it felt like you headlined the funeral. is
I
what it
did
felt
though.
like,
Remember
yeah.
they shut it off?
Yeah.
Because I said something. I said, they're like,
Oh, they shut the mic off.
Yeah, and I was like the
Wow.
second one. They're like, okay, we've had enough of this. Because they're conservative Christians, they're
Right.
not into the gay thing.
But it was also full of Trader Joe's employees, and
He was so beloved at the company that there was a line out the door of I don't know the numbers, but let's just say there was 50 family and there was like 100 Trader Joe's. That's how much he touched everybody.
Well, I just have to say, like, as a gay person and hearing when you tell the full story, it is really sweet, because I think a lot of people who maybe a lot of gay, lesbian, or even trans people who didn't or don't have good relationships with their family, often when they die, they get like sometimes they get misgendered, or sometimes they're not respected for the life that they actually.
I don't want to I wouldn't say his whole family was disrespecting, but I would say like 1 or 2 things was said where you go, hey man,
Right. But I just think it's nice
He's gone.
that you brought his.
You don't need to
actual-
say that.
Yeah.
It wasn't awful, but it was a couple of things at the religious moments where I was like, yeah, you motherfuckers, I'll get
Well, that's
you.
why I think, because if if the person were there, they wouldn't necessarily represent themselves that way. So
I came at them with Jesus on my side.
he would have laughed.
He would have rolled. He would have cracked up.
I think that's very important, because I think a lot of gay and lesbian people they're not there anymore to sort of have their own voice in that moment. So they're friends that can really remember them and remember who they are. I think it's really that's what's great about that story.
He was a good dude. Anyways.
So you were trading ass grabs for
headlining, my first headlining gig.
Yeah.
All those squeezes added up to something. Holy shit.
Any Letterman, she can chime in, I guess. She might have been joking, but we were down at did she used to date a doorman at the Improv, or was she just doing a bit?
She dated an employee there. I don't think it was a doorman, but yes.
Because there was a guy at the door one night and I was performing. I don't think we were in the same show, but I think that they were bumping up against one another. And she's like, oh, Greg, this is my boyfriend. But I couldn't tell if it was like a bit. And she goes, oh, Greg, this is my boyfriend. And he was the guy at the door, like kind of opening the door. And I went, oh, nice to meet you. And she goes, yeah, how else do you think I get all this stage time here? And she laughs and she goes, maybe you could get an extra 10 minutes too. You should ask him. And she's
No,
like,
she's just wild and
yeah.
hilarious.
And she goes,
that was definitely not her boyfriend.
and she goes,
or maybe it was. I don't know.
and she goes, I don't care. That's how cool I am.
Yeah. She is the best. I fucking love her.
She's so funny.
She is my people. She is crazy as
Yeah.
shit.
But I walked it because I'm so sort of accepting. I go, is that her boyfriend?
Yeah.
And-
no, she's just
and
wild.
can
And
I-
that's why
and can
I
I
love
have
and
sex with
enjoy
her?
her so much, because like I think I'm wild and then I'm like, this lady's crazy.
Yeah.
She's just always, she's just fun. She's just, we've had her on the pod once or twice. Once. I'll get her back.
Yeah.
I've done her pod a couple times too. Her solo pod.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a new hit pod out with Esther and Kalila.
Oh, I just watched the TV was kind of on and rotating around last night, and I watched the whole series the first time, but I watched it just popped on one of the episodes of Benji and Esther.
Oh yeah.
Alone together.
Yeah.
So good. I love it. It's so good. It's
Yeah.
such a good show.
I've seen like an episode or two.
So cute and
It went
smart.
2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
It's crazy that great shows still get canceled. What? Anyways, hey, check it out. It's on.
No, it is really good.
It's a good show. But yeah, Annie's fucking awesome. I'm so happy. She's always been working, but she's blowing the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well deserved. She's been in the game and hustling for God knows how long, and she's my people.
I forget. We don't know each other super well, but I believe that we met on the East Coast, maybe. I think I've known her for a minute, but like we just say hey here and there. We don't really know each other well.
You grab her booty when she walks by.
I only when invited do I cross the.
I have
the
no idea why I
boundary.
say that. I just try to say inappropriate shit. to be
Like I've
funny.
known you all these years,
That's all.
and I've never. I tried to do a joke on stage once though about grabbing your booty, like because we have just a thing where we can joke and it's fine.
Yeah.
And I think one time
You came off as a predator?
it was really weird because everyone was also right at the end.
I was screaming in the back, traumatized, though. That might
Right.
have
Well, I came into somewhere on Sunset and you were hosting and leaving, but I think I was in Selene Luna's show. And when I said hi to you, I think as a joke, I just went like that.
Oh, yeah.
And hugged you and went like that.
And then you talked about it
And
on
then
stage.
we talked about it and we laughed, and between us, it was so funny. And then I talked about it on stage, and because
And everyone was like, what the fuck?
it was like, because it was
Yeah.
so Me Too, like it was sort of at the height of all that stuff.
And you're like, this
And-
dude molested that little hippie.
I tried to explain it because I told the joke of why we thought it was funny, and then when I tried to explain it, it's just one of those things. That
And then sweat dripped down his head.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I got to get out of here. And I just left and let him die up there.
yeah, you were gone because then I said, "Oh, don't take it so seriously. He likes it," and then that made it weirder. Like
Yeah.
people went like,
Yeah.
"Ugh," like because they just.
And I
didn't-
went, no, I don't. And I left.
Yeah, you did leave. It was really funny, but it was just one of those moments where it was funny between us, but the audience was like,
That was a rough show.
"Yeah, you shouldn't be grabbing."
Yeah, people. That's the thing with comedy. I spoke about this briefly. It was a horrible subject, but me and maybe I won't name. Well, everyone knows. A comic had just passed of an accidental fentanyl overdose, and so me and another friend, we were hugging each other and crying it out over our fallen friends, and then we were joking. While crying and mourning our friends, how like, remember when cocaine used to be cut with baby laxatives and you just shit the bed and you didn't die, you know? So then we started cackling and laughing. So then I tried to take that to the stage, like while that shit was happening and mourning was happening. And oh dear God, I will never do that again. I
Too
took
much
the
for
oxygen
people.
out of the room. And I just felt so dumb because it was our friend, and we were laughing, but crying. You know, it was like good. It was healthy at that second in time. And then I was like, I'll take it to the stage. And then I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Too soon, or not my expertise. And I was like, oh fuck. Yeah, I regret
it's
this.
just interesting when you kind of tread on some territory and how it's exciting though, because even if it's not successful, I think as a performer, it's still,
I had to try
it's
it.
still interesting to have those moments.
I also opened up with it.
Yeah.
And it was like a sold out show that was hot. And I was like, you idiot.
Right.
You did this all like maybe in the middle towards the end.
It's just funny how things land, what the temperature of the, like who people are in the room, what they're up for.
Yeah.
You can kind of sense, I feel like I have a pretty good sense beforehand where I'm like, because sometimes I'll plan what I'm going to do. I'll have a loose idea of what I'm going to do. But then when I get there and I go, oh, this room is rowdy. Like this
Also,
room,
crowds in
yeah.
Hollywood are getting more sensitive and PC, and it's going a weird way. And it was in Hollywood, so that was like, you know. And but you can double down. I was just recently emceeing a show, sold out Hollywood Improv, and they're pulling back on some stuff. You could just tell across the board, not just that club. You could just feel it. It's a little more tight, and you adjust shit. You know, but then I saw Bobby Lee go up and he had a dirty joke and they pulled back, and then he just doubled and tripled down. He goes, and then he just kept going. He goes, you think that's dirty? Wait for this one. And then he did the next one and it had like 3 or 4 or 5. It just kept tagging and getting darker and grosser and gross. And then he finally won them over and got an applaud break over just tripling down on dirty. And I was like, that's what's up. So that's what I got to do.
Keep going.
Keep digging.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. It's just the climate of how things are right now.
Yeah, and I mean, and no, it was no big deal. Me sort of talking about how I said hi to you when we met, but it just felt such a lead balloon, and it's just that moment of like, oh, there's no,
You're like, oh, mistake.
there's no talking my way out of here.
Looks like this is a bomb.
Yeah,
That's what happens. You just take the L.
But I feel like as I was coming up and developing in New York and stuff, I was in a lot of group shows where nobody, for whatever reason, no one ever wanted to be the host. Everyone always wanted to just do their thing. Even in variety shows, no one really liked hosting. I was always like, I'll host. And I feel like being a host and coming in sort of that way, because really I was like a storyteller, and I didn't in the beginning really even consider myself a comic, really, because I would go, well, they're writing jokes. I'm just telling a story and I happen to be funny. But now I think they kind of meld more together.
They melt together.
But like
they are different, but you know, Rich Pryor is my favorite and one of the GOATs, and that's all he does.
Right. But I feel like having that time on stage as a host every night, like especially in the clubs like the Cutting Room, or I used to work with my friend Skip Shirey and his show. He was the host of that show called Skip's Hour of Charm. But just having a lot of stage time where you're talking in sort of direct address to the audience really helped me later develop that skill. Because I think it's when you host things, your job is to keep it really buoyant, no matter what just happened.
You're responsible for the energy of the room, no matter what, good or bad.
I think it trains you in a really unique kind of way. I think you become a different kind of comic, you know?
Damn, I had one and then I lost it. Hang on, where'd it go? Come on, God. It was about you.
About me?
Oh, it's gone. I lost it. That's why I got to interrupt. I'm like, hey, remember this story?
Oh, please interrupt. I hope
Too
I'm
late.
not.
I was like, I don't want to interrupt them.
No, but I think sometimes, because I watched you, and I think what's really great about when you've been in that hosting position, I think that I do a similar thing. I think you always try to honor what just happened. Like you don't. I think you have respect for whatever just went down.
Yeah, whether it's a bomb or a kill, you acknowledge it don't shit on the person. You
On the
might make them
person.
suicidal.
Exactly.
They just
exactly.
bumped. You don't
Because
need
you
you.
understand, yeah. And it's also, it keeps us buoyant. It keeps the people watching really buoyant.
You got to
and-
call it out for what it is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the audience will then lose trust in you and be like, he's, you know.
But I think it takes a certain finesse to also respect the performer and also keep it moving forward. Because I've seen people just shit on what just happened.
I know, and I feel
which I
so
think is the really
fucked
wrong
up.
thing to do. Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
They better be an awful person and deserve it.
But sometimes I just think it's about people's uncomfortability. Like they just don't know how to follow it up.
Yeah.
But I think you have just such a good facility for keeping us present and buoyant and having a good time.
Yeah, like if a comic bombs and you don't want to shit on them, but you all kind of have to. You just go, tough ground. Eh.
Yeah, there's a way to acknowledge what happened.
Tough for that guy
yeah,
and nobody else, huh? Just kidding.
without bringing it down totally.
Yeah. Well, I know the final story I wanted to get out of you, but I had one and it's driving me nuts.
It's okay.
What other crazy events have we done together? Why am I holding my fist up like this? What's the time marker at?
An hour 16.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but you're gonna edit some stuff.
No, none at
Just
all.
a pee break.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like podcasts that are edit. It's fucking wonky. There's dead air in real life. Why can't there be dead air on my podcast?
Well, I do know that you like.
And why
to,
is my fist still up like this?
Here, have some psyllium.
Well, I want that poop story about you
I have a good
shitting
one.
on that man's face. No, I'm just kidding. The one where your friend ran home ahead of you. That's my favorite one.
Oh, I've told you that before, but I'll tell one about me because the only reason I feel like it's not kind of
You
fair.
don't name them. No one.
No,
Who's going to track down the poop in the bushes and detective
No, I know.
and
but
figure
I
out
feel,
who shit in WeHo and
no,
4
I
years
feel
ago?
bad. I feel I don't want to talk about someone else's experience, even though that is a funny story.
I'll
I
tell
would
it
I would
later.
rather own my own. I would rather own my own.
Okay, all right.
You know what I
We'll do
mean?
both.
Because I feel like that other story has identifying markers that person's going to know who they are.
They ain't gonna listen to me.
No, they would. They would listen to me, I think. They would tune in to
That's
see.
the point.
Yeah. So, but I'll just tell my own story. But I thought about it, and I do have a good one. I don't know about you or the people out there listening, but I have this kind of weird thing where, like, if I have to go to the bathroom and I catch a visual of the toilet, my body is like, let's go. Like, it's happening. So it's sort of...
I would say that's most of us.
Is that most
Yeah.
people? So
The
it's
closer you get, you're like, oh,
yeah.
God,
So it's sort of
help
like
me.
Bird Box. Like I can't look at the toilet.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I have that response.
Anyone have a sleeping mask? I got a shit.
Yeah. So I remember this is years ago. I was flying over to a film festival in London and I had to get up early for the flight. And so already I'm off my schedule. Like I'm just up earlier than I would be. I'm running to the airport and I kind of have to go, but you just think, oh, I'm going to go at some point. Like I'll get to the airport. I'll get through TSA. I'll have a little break somewhere. And I was doing all that. But then whenever I got like an opportunity, it just wasn't happening because I think your body like knows you're about to travel and all this stuff. So I fully get on a plane to London from New York.
Oh, no.
And-
I don't like where this is
And
going.
then my body just kind of does that thing where I'm not shy. I'll go out at restaurants. I don't have a phobia about going places, but for whatever reason, my body was like, okay, Greg, you're on an airplane. It just like your body just pulls it together and you just don't have to go for that for like
the air.
It's right.
Something happens.
But like for the 4 or 6 hours that I was on the plane, I just didn't really have to go. But then when we were landing, it sort of started back up again. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to need to get to a bathroom soon because I've literally been on the plane now all day. And the people hosting the film festival have a sign with my name on it, you know, as I come through. And they're like, oh, Greg, we're so glad to see you.
And you're like, out of the way.
Yeah. They go, oh, Greg, we're so glad to see you. And I just get swept up in that. So I don't really stop to go at the airport. And they go, oh, we're really close to the hotel. And I'm like, great. So they bring me in to the hotel. It's a beautiful, again, it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, this venue is doing it. This is like such a nice suite. It's like a nice room. And they were really proud of it. They like took me in and they wanted to show me like the room they got me because it was like this gorgeous bed and breakfast. And they were like, oh yeah, we try to put all the guests here and they're showing me around. And it's happening. I'm going to need to go soon in my mind. I'm thinking. So they're all telling me, oh, we're later tonight. There's going to be the opening dinner.
You're like, I'm not hearing a word you are saying. There's a turtle head coming out.
So they're talking about how later tonight there's going to be an opening dinner and we want you to be there. And I'm like, great, great, great. Because I'm just trying to get them to leave now. So I'm kind of moving them toward the door. And then there's just no more waiting. So I just say as gracefully as I can, I'm like, listen, I just need real quick. I just need to go to the bathroom. And then the guy says to me, oh, well, we're going to like go to the pub in like 20 minutes. I can just wait. And then I didn't really, you know, you don't want somebody like waiting.
Yeah. You're like, nah, man, get out of here. Go play some music.
Right. So he goes, oh, cool. And I said, yeah, I'll meet you outside in just like 20 minutes. I just want to splash some water on my face. I say, just want to splash the water on my face. And he's like, great, great. And on the way out, he keeps trying to tell me like, oh, and the schedule and this. And I'm like, cool. And finally, I shut the door and I reach down because I gotten to that point. I reach down and I'm unbuckling my pants and pulling as I'm turning to walk toward the bathroom because I just know there's not a lot of time. And I catch a visual of the toilet and the bird box thing happens. And all I hear is whack. And like this like 10-pound poop hits the floor hits the floor of this like really nice tiled bathroom. And I literally I was like 3 feet away from the toilet. But I considered it a success considering that I had carried it all.
You were by yourself though?
Yeah, I was by myself.
Okay. I was hoping it was the public lobby one.
No, I was in the room. And so
you go get leave, you're like, there's a mess in there. Some animal left.
But I considered it a success considering I had brought it all the way from America and got it like 3 feet away from the toilet.
It was almost a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it was almost a win. So it's not exactly...
It was a field goal.
It's not exactly shitting my pants, but it's a good like...
You shit the floor with the good 10-pound heaping log.
I got real close.
That's pretty good.
But it's just that thing I caught that the last minute out of the corner of my eyes, I turned around, I saw the toilet, and my body was just like, let's go. Yeah.
I remember what it was. I try to make a joke out of your expense. No, I'm just kidding. Because we had just gotten coffee or tea at my Sweetser apartment, and you were on Grinder, and then he's like, oh, this guy's like 40 feet away. You know this guy? And I think it was like my neighbor or something.
Oh, I think you said it was your upstairs neighbor, maybe.
And then you're just like, oh, I'm going to go see if I get my dick sucked real quick or something.
Possibly could have said that.
Yeah. And then I was just like, in my head, I'm like, Greg. I was like, Greg, we just had scones together. That was the whole punchline. I was just like the perks of being a gay male. It's like you go on an app and get it and be like, oh, I could get my dick sucked in 4 minutes and he's 40 feet away. And that doesn't exist with any other species on this planet. Yeah. And I'm not gay, so it's hard to talk about that stuff on stage.
Did I say it that way though? I'm gonna go. That doesn't sound like me. I'm not saying I didn't attempt.
You didn't say that, but that's what I heard.
Yeah. I'm not saying I didn't make that attempt, but I don't think I would just roll like that.
No. Yeah.
But I think I would have told you like, oh hey.
And I was just like, I was just jealous. I was like,
you were jealous.
I was like, dude. Gay dudes can go to the bushes in Dodger Park and get their dick sucked. That's a real thing.
The bushes in Dodger. And where? Dodger Park.
Dodger Stadium.
Oh, at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, at Leisure Park.
Who's hanging around Dodger Stadium?
My gay buddy. He told me. I already told this story. He sucked a bunch of dicks and then shit his pants.
Oh, no.
And that was his last vice.
Look, here are your neighbor. Here are your gay neighbors.
He's doing it right now. He's at it again. He's like, ooh, you got any scones? I got a boner.
That's
and
funny.
yeah, it's just a crazy thing. I try to make funny a few times because I think it's hilarious. It's hilarious, and I couldn't figure it out.
There's another app you can be in the know, or maybe you already know it. There's another app that's even more intense than Grindr called Sniffies.
What's that one called? Squirt or something? I saw the billboards in WeHo, and I was like, this is hilarious. They don't give a fuck. It's awesome.
But there's one called Sniffies, and what's really intense about that is it's got a little menu that shows it's user-generated data, and you can post a public place where you are, where you want to get down. And it's a map of like the web of here, anywhere, but like they could go, you can, I'm not saying this in case there's legal weird stuff, but like they'll be like, you can go in the 3rd floor of the blue building of the Pacific Design Center. There are 5 guys hanging out.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's so weird.
That's
to me.
Insane.
That's like,
and that exists for
kind
only
of next
gay
level.
dudes. That's next level.
Oh, look, I'm not going to expose anyone, but look at this neighbor, this nice older
He's
gentleman.
married.
This nice older gentleman lives
I know his wife.
That's probably true. Probably true.
Another funny thing, I never could make funny on stage just working in West Hollywood and, the 24-hour fitness that is not 24 hours because after midnight it just turns into a gay orgy because all the clubs. Remember would tell us all those stories? We could bleep his name.
I used to have a joke about that too, where I would say it's one of the few 24-hour fitnesses that's not 24 hours because they have to close it down.
Because our coworker at Trader Joe's worked there before it was 24 hours. I mean, not 24 hours. And he used to say, oh yeah, we tried everything. And as soon as the bars let out, this shit turned into a wild orgy in the sauna room every night to where they're just like, we gotta close at 11. And he's like, we tried every hour or two. We would move it earlier hours, and then they would just show up earlier and just turn into a fuck fest. And I was like, damn. Can you imagine that? Anyway, you can.
You can too. It's not that hard. It's
just
not that hard.
Not in the cocks, bro.
Yeah, no. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to convince you.
Not a dick guy.
You're an ass guy, though.
You could trick me. You could trick me. It flops down. Hey! Where'd that thing come from? Anyways, I guess that about does it, huh?
I don't know if you'd be so easily tricked.
No, I know what's up. Like, I see the duct tape. I go to Home Depot.
And listen, and I don't want to put out the image that gay folks are out there trying to trick anyone.
What do you mean? I know a lot of you guys that are out into the tricky stuff.
It's all
I have like 3 close gay homies that are out on Santa Monica Boulevard with the high thong just trying to catch a straight boy coked up. Be like, and they'll get a couple here and there. They will, and they tell me.
Doesn't Thomas Dale talks about that, getting all the
yeah. There's
I want less of that. If we're going to get together, I want you to be sort of, I don't, like people, guys are like, I don't know. I've never known.
Bro.
It's too much.
If you're in the room, no one accidentally ends up in that room.
Because I feel like if
I see a big fat cock, I go, that's not for me.
Yeah. Because I feel like if you don't know, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to convince you.
Yeah.
I would rather everyone's like willing and not playing, not pretending and playing again.
There was this one comic, I haven't seen him in years, but he had this brilliant bit of where he's like, a straight dude is the last person I want to fuck because then he wants to kill me immediately afterwards to keep his secret safe or something.
Oh.
And it was dark, but it was done much better than that. And I saw it once at the Improv like 6 years ago. That's how good of a joke it was that I probably...
That you can't remember.
That I can't remember. But that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
You know how many jokes we hear and enter our brain and never... You know what I mean? Like if
yeah.
you just remember even the gist of a joke, that's a brilliant joke because I'm in the clubs every night of my life and you hear 59 million jokes. For one to stand out, you're like, oh, that's a good bit. Because he said it and it got a huge laugh and an applaud break. That's when it's true. And, you know.
I need it to be more workshop. I need to hear the original.
It was 6 years ago, bro.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like that's... yeah. Well, you're wrapping up. I don't want to...
Yeah, it was told by a big gay dude and he killed that shit. And
nice. As the big gay dudes do.
Yeah. That's all I remember. And I was like, damn.
Yeah,
I never thought of that aspect of it. That's scary and true and hilarious. It's all of the things.
Jokes, I think that's why I like working with other performers and writing with them because I have a good memory, and so part of what I do is when I sit with other performers and help them when they're developing their specials and stuff is I'll reflect. I just often remind them of what they say. I go, remember a month ago when you said this, or remember, because I have a good facility for sort of calling back things that...
You have a genius in the sense that you see the arc and beginning, middle, end of the story that I am not able to see in even my own story. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
But see, that's the advantage of sitting over here is like you have the thing of being able to kind of go, oh, I can take something.
Oh, well, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or this could tie into
to this other thing. But sometimes when you're sitting in the middle of your own stuff, it's just hard to remember. But yeah, I remember, like you say, if a joke sticks in your brain, I'll remember it for years. I don't necessarily remember who said it. Like if it's years gone by, I go, oh, I remember back in New York, this one person told joke about this, and I can't maybe not recall the person, but the joke will always stick there.
And that's a good bit because we hear bits every night of our life. Every night of our life. What am I talking about? Every night of our lives.
So what's one of your I don't know,
a joke I heard once that I'll never forget by the great Jimmy Wolpert, I believe was his name. He rest in peace, brother. I believe he went swimming in the ocean drunk and didn't make it out. So be careful.
Oh, no.
But I met this kid one time and I heard him tell this joke one time, and I was maybe a year or two into comedy. This is like 8 years ago, and I'll never forget it. He said, growing up, his parents used to fight a lot, and they would always say, earmuffs, Jimmy, earmuffs. And then I would say, yeah, but I could still see you beating the shit out of each other. And I was like, damn, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Jimmy. Don't do drugs, kids. On that note. That's dark.
I don't know what that was. While you're thinking, that's your thinking fist.
I know. What was it? We can't end on that. Something happy. Anyway, no, yeah, we can. That's life, you know. Well, I just love you, Mr. Walloch.
Oh, I love you too. Good to see you.
And
no, you're gonna leave me hanging.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'll see you on Santa Monica Boulevard with your high thong hiked up on Saturday nights.
Well, this is like the first time in 2 years I think I've put on underwear and actually gotten reasonably.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
well, I'm glad it was for
me. For you.
I
got a little dressed. I got out of the lounge clothing.
Oh, here's a fun story. When I pooped at your house and I used the damn alcohol wipes you had out, the bleach Clorox wipes.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
Didn't you talk about this a couple podcasts?
Yeah. Because it was at his house. Yeah, and Trader Joe's.
I learned my lesson. Well, this is the thing.
They were right there.
I used to keep I used to
They
keep...
didn't say Clorox either.
No, they did.
I'm not.
I'm going to defend myself. They say it was yellow and orange, and it said Clorox in big letters
Did
on
it?
it. Yes. And I used to keep
I'm
it
not
on...
a big reader.
I used to keep it on the counter to like encourage people to maybe like help themselves if they needed to like wipe up or whatever, wipe the counter. And you're not the only one. I had to put it under the sink because people... a girl that I know, she was over at my house. We were hanging out. She's like, I have to go to the bathroom. And then she came back and she's sitting on the couch and she keeps shifting around. And she's like, I don't know what's going on, but I am on fire. Like, and I go, what do you mean? She goes, I don't know. Everything is just burning.
My pussy burns.
And so she's like, I just used those lemon wipes. I'm like, I'm like, that's Clorox.
Be like, you need to take a shower now,
So
right now,
I
miss.
learned, and she got angry. She's like, Greg, you can't have this sitting out.
I would never be angry at you.
No, but she was like, you can't have this sitting out.
He didn't wipe your vagina, miss. You wiped it.
But I did put it under the counter because you weren't the only one. Like, people saw those Clorox wipes and they used them.
Yeah.
Like in the wrong way.
I mean, yeah, I talked about it. I've done it a handful of times accidentally and on purpose, calculated risk, where I was like, it is what it is. I got to clean myself.
Oh, I don't
And we're
know if
gonna
I
burn.
would be that
And we're gonna
desperate.
burn.
But yeah. No, but I learned that lesson. Like, several people were like, Greg, you can't just keep that out. But wouldn't you read the word Clorox?
I would hope so.
I think so.
I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. There was a girl who I knew who was like,
I believe that was one other dude too. You told me.
I don't know, maybe.
I remember. Anyway,
I just like people to be clean. Like, if you come over, not in that way.
I just like people to be clean and in pain.
Not in that way. Just in the house.
That's so funny.
If you want to wipe up the bathroom while you're in there.
Imagine just being at a friend's house, be like, something's burning.
It was awful.
What is this?
But I also felt like, why are people not reading the jar, the bottle?
We're busy.
Yeah.
We're busy in there. Are we? No, we're not. Okay.
All right.
Do it. Take care of yourself. Peace and love. Vibrate higher. Thanks for tuning in, listening. Check out my man, Greg Walloch.
Hi.
He is funny as shit and a dear, dear, sweet, good man.
Oh, thank you. You too.
And then, thank you.
I'm on the Instagram and the...
Yeah, we'll tag you in all things at Greg
about,
Walloch.
That's about it, yeah.
And I'll do a little intro plugging the dates that aren't past. Phoenix, Arizona, San Francisco, Florida. Coming up. I'm coming.
Oh,
I love
nice.
you all. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Bye.